So let's start with banks. So I have already told you. So for a financial institution to be considered as a bank, what are the three criteria? I think in the first class or something I have told you. Okay, lending first. What is the first thing? Accept public deposits, not just deposits. Accept public deposits. Accept public deposits. Second, demand withdrawal. That is a word I have told you, not withdrawal. Okay, withdrawal is also provided by NBFC. ఓకే, మీరు ఇచ్చిన డబ్బులు తర్వాత తీసుకుంటారు కదా, వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉంచారు కదా. సో విత్డ్రాల్ ఎన్బిఎఫ్సి ఆల్సో విల్ ప్రొవైడ్, బట్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ విత్ బ్యాంక్ ఈస్ డిమాండ్ విత్డ్రాల్. దట్ మీన్స్ వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్ యూ కెన్ టేక్ ద మనీ. ఓకే, డిమాండ్ విత్డ్రాల్ ఫెసిలిటీ. అండ్ ఆబ్వియస్లీ థర్డ్ విల్ బి lending to public. Again, just don't say loans to the public. In NABARD, it also provide loans, but it is not providing to the public. A bank means it provide loans to the public. Okay, so again, so generally ichana ikkada all these three criteria. I think not given. Okay, given acceptance of deposit from public, demand withdrawal and lending. Okay, again for lending also, right, lending to the public. Next, types of banks. First one is, generally banks are divided into scheduled commercial banks and non-scheduled commercial banks. Basic classification. Basic classification will be scheduled and non-scheduled. Tell me what is the difference between scheduled bank and non-scheduled bank? Okay. Yeah. See, whatever the banks that are registered under second schedule of RBI Act 1934, okay, whichever the banks that were registered under the second schedule of RBI Act 1934, they are called scheduled banks. Rest of them are non-scheduled banks. Okay, generally in India non-scheduled banks are very rare. Almost all the banks that we know, they are registered under the second schedule of RBI Act. Okay, we can't even find example for a non-scheduled bank because mostly all the banks are registered. Now one more criteria will be commercial bank and cooperative bank. Okay, one more classification. Commercial bank, cooperative banks. Now tell me, what is the meaning of a commercial bank? Or I will ask you one more question. Is SBI a commercial bank?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is a commercial bank? Okay, their main objective is to earn profit, but generally they are registered under which act? Companies Act. Simply they are a company. Okay, commercial bank is nothing but it is a company registered under the Company Act. The difference with respect to cooperative bank will be they are registered under Cooperative Society Act. Okay, main difference between them, these are registered under Companies Act 2013, these are registered under Cooperative Act or Cooperative Society Act. Generally Cooperative Society Act of every state will be there. So if a particular cooperative bank is working under a state government, they will be registered under the Cooperative Society Act of that particular state government. Otherwise some cooperative banks, okay, they can be in multiple states, then they will be registered under a particular act called What is that? Any idea? Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002, right? So basic difference: registered or established as per the Companies Act, commercial bank, and objective will be what? Profit. Okay, their objective will be earning profit. And let's look at the document handout. Okay, objective, profit, and who is going to be the regulator for them? RBI. Okay, and source of funds, from where will they get the funds? Public deposits. So all of us deposit, from there they will get the funds. And management, board of directors, which are elected by shareholders. See, you need to understand, there is a bank. Okay, it is registered under Companies Act of 2013. Okay, now under Companies Act, let us say any company, not just a bank. Okay, who will be the owners? Shareholders generally. Okay, there will be some shareholders for that particular company, and from that shareholders, what they will do? They will appoint some board of directors. Okay, some board of directors will be there, and from that there will be one CEO. Antena? That is how any company will work. So simply the management will be board of directors, and who are elected by the shareholders. What is the difference between a public limited company and private limited company? Anyway, it will come today, but before that only. Vache munde. Okay. My question is, what is a public limited company? What is a private limited company? Or I will ask you, SBI, is it a public limited company or private limited company? What about ICICI? Public limited or private limited? HDFC, ICICI, private limited. Reliance Industry? Reliance, private limited. Adani Group. Or tell me Airtel public limited or private limited? మరి సడన్ గా ఎయిర్టెల్ పబ్లిక్ ఎందుకు అయింది? ఐసిఐసిఐ ఎందుకు గాల? సమ్ ఆఫ్ యూ టోల్డ్ మీ ప్రైవేట్, ఐసిఐసిఐ, హెచ్డిఎఫ్సి చెప్పారు లేదా? మరి రిలయన్స్ అదానికి వచ్చేసరికి ఎందుకు మళ్ళీ పబ్లిక్ మారిపోయింది? ఆన్సర్ ఆ రెండు తేడా ఏంటంట వాటికి? ఐసిఐసిఐ ఇస్ ఎ కంపెనీ, హెచ్డిఎఫ్సి ఇస్ ఎ కంపెనీ, రిలయన్స్ ఇస్ ఎ కంపెనీ, అదాని ఇస్ ఎ కంపెనీ. ఒకటి ప్రైవేట్ ఒకటి పబ్లిక్ ఎందుకు అయిందని? Yes, see the difference between a public limited or private limited company is some of the shares of that company, if they went through IPO, initial public offer, what we call as, that means some shares are held by the public, not by the shareholders. Okay, some of the shares are held by the public, at least 25% shares if they went to IPO, and that shares held by the public, then we call that company as a public limited company. Okay, if the shares are held by only few people and that company has not went for any IPO, then that company will called as a private limited company. The shares are held privately or publicly, at least some of the shares if they are held by public. In Reliance, Adani, at least 25% shares are held by public or not? You and I can buy the shares or not? Yes. Okay, so generally all the commercial banks, most of them will be public limited companies only, because some of their shares are held by the public. Not all, at least some of them. Let us take Kotak Mahindra Bank. I don't think they still went for IPO. Okay, so it might be a private limited company. So simply they are registered under the Companies Act. Okay, and the shareholders, they can be public, can be there, and sometimes only private can be there. If it is a public limited company, general public also will be there. If it is a private limited, only few people. At the end of the day, shareholders will elect a board of director. Normal times only the small, large shareholders, they will decide board of directors. Unless there is a conflict, then each and every shareholder will be called. The general public also will be called, and a voting will happen. They will elect the board of director, and for them a CEO will be there. Okay. And owners, they can be multiple, like foreign banks, foreign owners can be there. Okay. And government can be a owner, private sector can be a owner, and you and I can also be a owner if you just hold a share in that company. మనకు షేర్ ఉంటే మనం కూడా ఓనరే. ఐ ఆల్రెడీ టోల్డ్ యూ, హోల్డర్ ఆఫ్ షేర్స్ వీ కాల్ దమ్ ఓనర్స్. ఓకే. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు కోఆపరేటివ్ బ్యాంక్? కోఆపరేటివ్ బ్యాంక్, దే ఆర్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్డ్ యాజ్ పర్ కోఆపరేటివ్ సొసైటీ యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ స్టేట్. ఓకే. Of that particular state generally. Okay. And regulate, and their objective is what? Financial inclusion, not profit. Okay, that is the main difference. Commercial bank and cooperative bank, what is the main difference? Their objective is financial inclusion. Here the objective is profit. And I have already told you what is financial inclusion. Okay, each and everyone participating in the financial process. Okay, taking the banking sector or the financial institutions to the rural areas and including everyone. For that, what government is doing? JAM Trinity. Have you heard? JAM Trinity. Yeah. JAM Trinity. Jandan Aadhar Mobile. Okay. What is a Jandan account? What is a Jandan account? Jandan account and end. It is a zero balance account. Okay. Generally taken by the whoever is are the beneficiaries of government schemes. Now most of the government schemes of central government and some states like Andhra Pradesh, how they are being disbursed? Through DBT, direct benefit transfer. What does that mean? Directly to the beneficiary, to their bank account, the money will be disbursed. Okay. For that you will need a bank account. And poor people, can they maintain minimum balance like you and me? Normally I told you, for a savings account, minimum balance has to be maintained or not, otherwise there will be charges, penalty. Okay, in rural areas minimum 1000 rupees has to be maintained, in towns 2000, and in cities 3000. This I am telling for SBI. Okay, for some other banks like HDFC and ICICI, in cities you may have to maintain 10,000 balance. Okay, if your bank account is given by some company accounts will be there, right? Corporate accounts. So minimum 10,000 balance you need to maintain. Sometimes even when I used to have a student account of ICICI, they told me to maintain 5,000 minimum balance. Okay, so over a period of time my total balance went into negative. That is a different thing. I have stopped using that. Okay, so 5,000 we need to maintain. But Jandan account is like a savings account only, but it is a zero balance account. Okay, in current account no minimum requirement will be there generally. Okay, current account is held by corporates, not by the general public. So here Jandan account, it is a zero balance account, generally used for government schemes, direct benefit transfer. And next, Aadhar. Our bank account will be linked to the Aadhar, and I already told you Aadhar based services, POS. Okay, POS machines, mini ATMs. Gurtunda? Mini ATMs and bank correspondents, all these things I told you. So just if you have your Aadhar linked to a bank account, by using your biometric, okay, you can do transactions, you can withdraw money, you can deposit money, everything. Normally for poor people, they don't know their bank account number. Okay, they may not know all the details, what is their IFSC code, etc, etc. Okay, simply what they will do, they will go to this mini ATM, there a person will be there, just by giving their biometric, either if they want to deposit money, they will deposit, or generally mostly their bank accounts will be used for government schemes. They can just withdraw the money that came into their account in the form of DBT. And the last is mobile. Okay, your mobile, if it is a smartphone or a normal phone also, banking services are provided in each and every mobile. Okay, so by using Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile, government wants to improve the financial inclusion in our country. Financial inclusion means everybody participating in the financial process, including the poor people. Okay, especially the weaker sections. So cooperative bank objective financial inclusion. Why I have explained this much is the chapter on financial inclusion we may discuss or may not, that's why. Okay, so regulator will be RBI, NABARD and state government. Generally RBI. Okay, for either a single state cooperative or a multi-state cooperative, RBI will be there. RBI actually was added recently as a regulator. Okay, like 4 or 5 years back, RBI was not a regulatory for cooperative banks. Because of that, what used to happen? Too many frauds. You might have heard about PMC bank fraud in Maharashtra. Okay, in Maharashtra it is a cooperative bank. Okay, lot of fraud has happened and too many people have suffered. So after realizing that even for cooperative banks some kind of regulation has to be there, RBI has entered as a regulator from 2019 around. Before that, RBI was not a regulator for cooperative banks, it was only for commercial banks and NBFCs. But now RBI is also a regulator for cooperative banks. So along with RBI, if it is a state cooperative bank, state government. Okay, and for some particular banks, for particular cooperative societies which are just related to agriculture, their NABARD also will be a regulator. Okay, only for agriculture related cooperative societies. We call them PACS. Have you heard about this? What is the full form? Yeah, credit cooperative society is the actual word. Sometimes just cooperative society word also will be used. Okay, these are at the village level. Okay, village level primary agriculture cooperative societies. In general, in villages they will be called as banks only, because they don't know, they are not banks. Okay, in villages they will be called as banks only. So what do? Em chestayi PACS? They provide again, they provide loans, they provide some kind of subsidy facilities, etc. They are cooperative societies and they are actually established by the land owning farmers in that particular village. Okay, land owning farmer. See, first of all, what is the difference between a company and a cooperative society? Tell me that. ఒక కంపెనీకి కోఆపరేటివ్ సొసైటీకి తేడా ఏంటి?
షేర్ హోల్డర్స్ బట్టి వెయిటేజ్ బట్టి ఓనర్షిప్ ఉంటుంది సార్.
ఓకే,
ఇక్కడ కమ్యూనిటీ ఓనర్షిప్ సార్. వన్ ఓట్ వన్ వాల్యూ.
See, the thing is, a company, it is owned by shareholders, whereas a cooperative society is owned by members. Okay, it is established and also owned by members. Okay, no other person has any role in it. Okay, cooperative society established and owned by members and each person will have one vote. Whereas here the amount of shareholding you have, based on that you will have the vote. Okay, if your shareholding in the company is 20%, your vote share is 20%. Whereas here it is based on a democratic principle, one person one vote, and the owners are members. Okay, those who are initially part of that cooperative society, members, they are the owners, they are the members and they will have the vote share, they will elect their own president. Okay.